When Roger was just a little boy, he would go outside and stand on the cellar at their house in Oklahoma, and she would hear him preaching out there as a little boy. And he had that wonderful spiritual heritage of preachers in his family. It wasn't necessarily expected that he was going to be a preacher, but when he became a preacher and felt God was calling him in that direction, it was no surprise to him or his family. When we were young, we used to dream about building great churches, and we had a lot of dreams, we had a lot of vision, we had a lot of ideas. We never could have dreamed, I don't think, that the ministry of Valley Baptist Church would literally be worldwide, and that it would impact our community, our state, and our nation the way it has.
One thing that we don't always think about is how his ministry has impacted people's lives even outside of Valley Baptist Church. The impact of our broadcast ministry that is reaching around the world and even into the Middle East. It reminds us that Pastor Roger's influence was felt beyond the walls of Valley Baptist Church.
Every sermon, whatever text he's in, he always beat a path back to the cross of decision time for the listener, the one taking in the Word of God. What are you going to do with what you've just heard?
It didn't matter what size the church was. It was always about loving people and ministering to people. I don't think that ever changed as the church grew larger, but the heart and the vision of it always stayed the same.
I think for sure you can't talk about my dad without mentioning my mom. When we were in Houston, there was one night where I was awake in the middle of the night with my dad trying to help him with pain. And he got to talking about my mom. And he talked about how she's evidence of God's grace in his life. And he told me that God has used her throughout his life to make him a better man.
Someday you will hear that my voice has been silenced by disease or by death. When you hear that, don't believe it. I've read the end of the book. And in Revelation 4, you have this amazing scene. And they're standing in this great plaza before the Lord. And they're singing, or they're stating, worthy, worthy is the Creator. And I fully expect to be in that crowd. I fully expect to lift my voice with those hundreds, thousands, millions, maybe billion of the redeemed of the ages, and sing, worthy, worthy is the Creator, worthy is the Redeemer. And then I also think that not only will my voice not be silenced then, I think that the voice of the gospel is going to live on at Valley. It's mine and Pastor Phil's desire that this little piece of real estate right here, just a few square feet, then until Jesus comes, right here in this area, there'll be someone proclaiming the gospel. Week by week by week. That the voice of the gospel will not be silenced. Hear the word of the Lord. Whoever calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the gospel of peace, who bring good tidings